So I usually don't do this, but I'm gonna start press conference off with a little something, and then we can get into questions. But you know, I talked to you guys about embracing the details and how it all correlates with the guest speaker that we brought in at Easter's and climbing a mountain or having a mountain climbing team and making sure that they're important to you or to us. And one of the details, which is really big, is just the simple fact of sprint to the corners. Sprint to the corners after every possession. If you think about it, if you can get guys to the corner, especially with the way we have, the shooters we have, they have to be guarded. So now if they're guarded and they're to the corners, especially before the ball arrives, think about how much space our ball handlers, especially the fastest guy in the NBA and Fox, think about how much space he has to touch the paint and score, touch the paint and spray. And so we're really, again, going back to year one with it, with trying to make guys get to the corners. And this year we're actually charting it, just like we chart the crash zone attempts. We're charting our sprints to the corners, and there's a couple different criteria that I'm not going to get into right now that we're looking at when we do chart those. It may not always be this way. This is the first time I've ever charted, but in game one, our sprint to the corner rate, we did it at 77%. So, which is not great. It's okay, but it's not great. And we scored 11 fast break points. Game two, our sprint to the corner rate was at 86%. 86%, so basically 10 percentage points higher. And we scored 32 fast break points. And so, again, you take into account, it may be a small thing or a detail, and if we don't embrace it, we don't do it, it can have a huge impact on our ability to get some great looks in transition, putting the pressure on our opponents. And also what it does when you talk about it and guys get out and do it, it forces them to be, you know, the one thing everybody says, you're able to tackle before the defense gets set, but it forces them, your opponent, to sometimes match up with mismatches. Because the guys are running so fast, they're just scrambling. Hey. Next thing you know, their center's on a guard, their power forward's on a 2-guard, you know, and it makes it that much easier for us as a group. So again, our sprint to the corner rate, game one, 77%, 11 fast break points. Game two, 86%, 32 fast break points. Now, just because we do it 86, 90% of the time, we're not going to, 32 fast break points is a whole heck of a lot for a game, you know. But it is a small detail that we want to embrace and that we're going to chart. I'm going to do it real fast so you guys can't really copy it, see who's not sprinting right now. But you know, it's a small detail that can add up to a whole hell of a lot, especially over the course of a season, if we put that pressure on our opponent. Not every other possession, but every possession. Do it, and it's hard. But we gotta embrace it, we gotta do it.
Were the starters responsible for most of those 87%, Coach?
Our starters were pretty good. Our starters were pretty good. Our best guy was Fox. Fox had 15 opportunities to get there, and he got there 15 times.
Mike, Jordan is not on the injury report today. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about the plan for him to ramp up, how soon he might be available, and then I hear also that Malik is available. What's the plan for him today?
They're both going to play. Yeah.
Mike, just to follow back on the detail, is this something that you looked at all last season in terms of, I know you're being so detailed about right now, but is there any comparison to where you were at last season in terms of sprinting to the corner or anything from there from last season?
I'm not going to look at last season because we were really bad, and I'll just get depressed. I don't want to do that right now. I'm still excited. We haven't lost yet.
What What's your plan tonight for the starters? Is this more like a dress rehearsal? Will they be playing in the third quarter?
No, they're gonna play into the third quarter, and I'm gonna try to finish the game with them.
Okay.
You know, we have 3 more games left, and so, you know, if a guy sits or if they don't finish the game, it's because we're getting blown out, we're blowing somebody out, or I think that specific guy needs a rest. But we're gonna try to figure out, and again, I would tell you this, Alex, Malik, 100% for sure, and I know I'm probably missing somebody, but those 2 guys are gonna play during the regular season. And most likely Jordan. But I wouldn't read into me throwing other guys out there with this combination or that combination. I'm still experimenting from that standpoint. I'm still trying to figure out minutes as well. But I do want to try to get these guys, these next 3 games, if possible, some conditioning against another team for 48 minutes.
Like, where's Jordan at, just health-wise? I know he's officially cleared to play, and where is he sort of his ramp up to learning your system and sort of being ready?
The knowing the system, it's going to take a little time, but just being around him a little bit, he seems like he has a really good feel for, first of all, the game of basketball, which carries over to what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor. You know, he was in Minnesota for 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is, and they do a great job over there. And so he seems like he has a pretty good feel. In terms of ramp up, that had already happened. He played 1s against our coaches, he played 3s against our coaches, he played 1s against players, he played 5-on-5 against players and all that. So there's no more, quote unquote, ramping up needed for him. So he'll be out on the floor at some point.
Coach, could you give us a couple of thoughts about your interaction with Chauncey Billups over his now Hall of Fame career?
So a lot of people don't know this, but I actually, and I'm dating myself because Chauncey refuses to shave, I think his goatee, and it's gray in his goatee, so he looks older than what he is. But Chauncey, if you get hip like me and just shave it all off, you won't guess your age at all. But I'm saying this because I think he was in middle school on his way to high school, or in high school. I actually worked him out, I think, one time. He went to George Washington, I think, high school in Denver, Colorado. When I was when I first entered the league as a video coordinator / kind of do everything, and we used to play pickup at times at Denver University, and I'd work guys out at times at Denver University because we didn't have a practice facility. And I remember him coming over when he was in high school, playing with our guys, and me working them out a little bit. It wasn't a thing, but so I've known of Chauncey, and we weren't close or anything like that. But I've known of Chauncey, and I also watched him play high school basketball, so I've known of Chauncey for many, many, many years.
Mike, going back to Friday, 5 steals for Keegan, but also got to the foul line 8 times. I'm curious your thoughts on how he's improved at attacking and drawing contact and getting the foul line, how important that is. And if I can add one more thing onto that, if you've noticed how DeMar has helped him at all with developing that side of his game.
Yeah, it's mainly Keegan. Our coaches have done a great job with him, but it's just Keegan's growth, from a young guy. You're talking about a no-star recruit to getting drafted 4th to, starting for a playoff team and trying to find your fit with Fox and Domas, 2 established guys, and then HB, who's also established, Kevin. So his first year, he was a little unsure, and he's a catch-and-shoot guy, and then just like we all do, whether it's in this line of work or that line of work, every year that you're around it, you go through your ups and you go through your downs, and you figure out how to grow, and you work on your weaknesses to try to get better. So it's just a matter of him continuing to get comfortable with who he is and what he can do out on the floor. Again, probably in high school, I don't know, but I know for sure in college, he played around the basket quite a bit. And we're asking him to read the DHO game, read when to cut, and how to space, and how to re-space, and go up, shoot off the dribble, because you're a guard now, and you're not a, you're not a power forward. And so it's just a matter of him continuing to have time to face defenses and see how officials call the game and understand angles and all that other stuff while getting stronger, because now he's not getting knocked off his spots. He's the one putting that back shoulder in the guys and creating the space that he needs to go up at 6'8", 6'9", and shoot the ball over people and or finish at the rim.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
But
Calif.
yes,
Hey, Mike, just to clarify, did you say the starters are gonna finish the game? So you said they're gonna play into the third quarter.
Yeah, so they're most likely gonna finish the game, unless we're getting blown out or we're blowing them out, then there's a chance I may not, but I want them to, these last 3 games, to try to finish the game, so unless there's a blowout either way, or if I'm like, this guy needs a little break, so he may not play the whole game, or he may not play at all, but we're gonna try to play these guys. So
Thank you.